Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Tomorrow marks like the second or third unofficial start of Christmas. Retail stores sometimes started in August, um, usually the day after Halloween. Some people start decorating. I think traditionally, day after Thanksgiving is probably um, a pretty common start to the Christmas season. So today's tip is going to be on how to decorate a Christmas tree. We'll start with the lights. Um, Okay, one thing you want to consider when putting lights on is the more lights, the better usually. So I'll go over how to wrap lights around every branch. That's an artificial tree. It's about 12 foot tall. I think I have almost 2,000 lights on it. I went with LED lights this year. If you do get LED lights, a lot of people like the warm white. They're not quite as bright bluish in color. I always think go big or go home. The problem with that is sometimes when you get a big tree, you have to take it home. Uh, Years ago, I got a real tree. I've had the artificial one now probably 5 years or so. But prior to that, we would get an artificial tree, 12 to 14 foot. And the one year I got one that was way too big to get in the door. Opened it up, and there was a lot of tree in the living room, so I had to cut the branches back. So I started taking a tape measure. I want to pick out the tree to make sure the base wasn't too wide. And this tree, which I'm just getting the lights on it now, it's about 20 years old. It was the first tree that my wife and I got when we were first married. It came pre-lit, and the lights lasted a really long time. After probably about 10 years, they started going and replacing them. The incandescent lights would only last a year or two, so I'm switching over to LED on this one this year because over half of them were out from last year. Okay, I'm going to be putting on some new lights. This is a strand of 100 LED lights. One thing you want to do is try to keep them together as much as you can as you put new ones on. I had some old strands I put on here that were already opened up that I'd used last year. And it works too, but it's a little bit easier if they're already wrapped up. Okay, so whenever you open those up, they're usually bunched in three, so that's what you're going to want. Um, I like to start with the side that has the plug on it, and once you open that side up, it gives you a little bit of space to go with, and then the other ones keep those on until you're ready to use them. One thing you want to do in decorating your tree is to get every branch wrapped. Um, and this needs plugged in while you're wrapping the branches. That way you'll see where the lights are. Years ago they recommended not to do that because they were incandescent lights, and moving them around broken the filament. I always did anyways, just gently with them. But LED lights, there's no filament in there, so they're a lot more durable. They last a lot longer. But you're going to want to go around every branch, starting on the inside, wrap around to the front, and then back. You just go side to side the whole way around the tree. Now, I also like to, in the back, loop it around one tiny little limb that helps to keep it in place so it doesn't come unraveled. And you want to go in and out of the branches up and down a little bit so you don't have those perfect strings of lights. Like I've seen trees before, the lights just make it look like stripes on the tree. That takes a lot less lights to do it that way. It's usually cheaper, but it works. But if you want a nice lit tree that looks real even and uniform, it's nice to wrap every branch. Okay, another thing you want to do whenever you're decorating with the lights, each section of the tree, try to end the lights at that section. So when you take the sections off at the end of the year, it'll be, you don't have to undo all the lights. So do one section at a time, and then leave that section off as you're doing the top sections. That tree up there didn't have the top on it, so just do section at a time and then put the next piece on. The other thing is decorating with all of the bulbs. So when you start decorating, especially if you have a large tree, or real trees too have this issue where there's a lot of gaps, big open holes. So you want to fill in with some big ornaments in here. We had some large holes. Back there's a gold one, to fill in any gaps with some of the larger ornaments. You start with those. If you get a big tree like we have, I have to put ladders up against the walls up here. So I actually do the top completely decorated first before I move down, because the ladders hit down at the bottom and they would knock ornaments off. But the other thing you want to do after you fill in all of the parts in the inside with the holes. There's a big one in there that fills in. It's also best to use the shiny or glittery bulbs, the ornaments, inside the tree, because those will help reflect the light back. And then once you get all those on, then you can put all the other ornaments in the front. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to decorate a tree. Don't forget to like and subscribe.